governments into action on climate change and for individuals who want to help save the planet. A Bloomberg editorial suggests meatless Mondays. Quote, cattle are responsible for vastly more emissions than chickens and pigs, in part because their digestive systems produce methane, a potent greenhouse gas, end quote. Michael Knowles, host of The Michael Knowles Show at the Daily Wire, and Chris Hahn is former aide to Senator Chuck Schumer and a syndicated radio host. Michael, I'll start with you for just quick reaction.
Ironically, there was a study that came out of Carnegie Mellon University in 2015, which showed that meatless diets are actually far worse for the environment than the regular meat-filled diets. They increase emissions, they increase energy use, they increase water use. But none of that matters because the climate hysteria movement is not about science. If it were about science, it would be led by scientists rather than by politicians and a mentally ill Swedish child who is being exploited by her parents and by the international left. So what you're seeing here is a political movement and a religious movement, and it's fulfilling religious and political goals of the left, but it isn't doing very much for science.
Chris, you had a visceral reaction to that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you're a grown man and you're attacking a child. Shame on you. She's trying to do what she thinks is right. And by the way, now relax, skinny boy. I got this. Okay, you're attacking a child. You're a grown man. Have some couth.
I'm not. I'm attacking the left for exploiting a mentally ill child.
Maybe on your podcast, you get away and say whatever you want because nobody's listening. You're on national television. Be a grown-up when you're talking about children. She's trying to save the planet because your president doesn't believe in climate change, and kids need to take to the streets to worry about their future. You are despicable for talking to her about her like that, and you should apologize on national television right now.
I think the international left and her parents who are exploiting a girl with many mental illnesses.
You called her mentally ill. Take it back now.
She is mentally ill. Take it back now. She is mentally ill. She has autism. She has obsessive compulsive disorder. She has selective mutism. She had depression.
You are despicable.
Her mother wrote about this in a book. You can inveigh all you want, but unfortunately you don't have any facts on your side. You're
despicable. You're a grown-up. Be a grown-up.
Let's change gears a little bit here. Andrew Yang, one of the 2020 Democratic candidates on the emissions tax earlier today.
If you project forward on what we would need to do to reduce emissions, you would want to modify Americans' diets. You'd want those cattle producers to have to internalize the cost of emissions. What that would naturally do, and some people are going to hate this, but it would probably make those products more expensive. And that is appropriate.
Meanwhile, Andrew Yang was seen grilling steaks this weekend, and he said this in a tweet: "That steak made me angry." Michael?
Well, of course we see this hypocrisy all the time. Prince Harry in the United Kingdom said that climate change is the most important issue of the month. Then he flew on a private jet 4 times in 11 days. This is not about protecting the environment. We saw NBC News put out a climate confessional over the weekend. Now we have meatless Mondays. These are religious rituals. I'm a Catholic, so I don't eat meat on Fridays. If I were a leftist, I guess I wouldn't eat meat on Mondays. If we really want to help the environment, President Trump has done a good job on this. He's done a lot better than all the signatories of the Paris Climate Accord. So I think we should keep on keeping on and leave all of the stunts and hysterics off to the side for the left to continue to put on.
Your rebuttal, Chris?
You know, if meatless Fridays was good enough for the Pope and the Catholic Church, I think meatless Mondays would be okay. And by the way, I've been all over America. Some of us could use to take a day off from eating meat. It wouldn't kill us. And if it helps the environment, great.
You are obsessed with people's weight.
But you told me I'm too skinny.
Exactly.
Well, maybe you need a little more meat. Sorry.
You know what? Let's talk about this, though, just widely as a Democratic talking point as you enter into 2020. Do you think a whole lot of voters are focused on this sort of thing, Chris?
I think it's a big issue among Democratic primary voters because I think climate is a real issue. It's a real concern. That's why you're seeing a lot of young people take to the streets the last couple of days to urge action on climate change. We have a president right now who's a climate change denier. In fact, all the countries in the world, there's only one major party in all the countries of the world that denies climate change, and that's the Republican Party, which is in control of the White House right now. That has to change. Right. The president needs to face reality and understand that this is a real threat to our society. We've seen bigger storms, worse storms. We've seen heat waves. Right. It's affecting farmers in the Midwest. It's affecting people on the coast. It's a big problem for this country, and it's a big problem for our future.
Chris Hahn, Mike Knowles. I don't know what you guys are normally like outside of television, but wow. Thank you. More of the story next.